Hello everyone, welcome to another Harry Potter Wizards Unite video, and starting from today, we're gonna go over some of these professions. So, if you guys don't know, the game has three professions that you could choose from ever since you reached level 6, I believe. So you got auras, magic zoologists, and professors. I'm gonna go through all three of them. Me personally, on my own account, I am a magic zoologist. This is not mine. This is my friend's account. Uh, but they're in Aura, so I'll have to use or lend their phone to kind of go through Aura, its skills, its stats, and all that. So starting from the basics, Aura is kind of like as people describe it, as a glass cannon type of profession, which I don't really think is that fair because I think it's not that glassy. Sure, it is probably a bit more glassy than the other two professions, but for the most part, it can handle itself pretty well. And yeah, back to the basics. So when fighting challenges, Aura does deal extra damage against dark forces and take extra damage from beasts. So just keep that in mind. It's actually quite a bit of extra damage if you are going after stuff that you're more proficient against. And then yeah, so when you do enter challenge, look for the dark forces to fight. And anyways, let's get into Aura's stats first. I'm gonna go head over to Wizards Unite Hub for to about the stats if I could find them. All right, so here are the stats. Stamina, Aura has 296. Power, Aura has 100. Protego power, highest it can reach is 35%. Precision, 35%. Crit power is 120%, which is the highest of all of them. Proficiency power, 148. That's not too much of a difference from the other ones. Deficiency defense is 50%. Defense 39%, defense breach is 32%, accuracy 15%, maximum focus could reach 10, and initial focus is 4. So for or can reach what, 4, right? So for Aura, it's basically you got all your high damaging stats up. So you got power is high, critical power is the highest of them all. What else? Defense breach is the highest, and then also your precision, which is your critical chance, can be the highest. So of all the professions, Aura actually has it really good because at least right now, at the stage of the game that we're in, offense is way more valuable than defensive stats. So Aura obviously has the best offensive stats of all of them, and it helps them a lot. And actually, I'm just gonna say it right now. Now that at the moment of this recording, no events have been open, so we can't get any of those green books for the restricted sections of the skill tree. So at the time of recording this video, Aura probably might be the strongest profession of all these three, and I'll go into detail in a bit of why Aura probably is the strongest right now. So, anyways, let's go into Aura's skills really fast. Aura's skills are like pretty crazy. So, first let's get the one that doesn't matter too much out of the way, which is the bogey hex. This one doesn't cost a cost of focus at all, but it deals one foe stamina by a small amount, up to 3 stamina, which isn't a lot, to be honest, and it is free, so you could use it if you want. So this is one of those skills that you don't really have to pick up, but it's still good to have when you're not really doing anything and you're outside, I guess. It's kind of like those things that it's not too much added to your skill set when you have it, but if you throw it away and you don't pick it up at all, it's kind of a pity that you don't have it in sometimes of the battle. So there's that. And now let's get to the other spells for Aura. Aura has probably one of the strongest support skills in the game in Focus Charm. Even though Aura it's supposed to be this like offensive powerhouse. It's supposed to like solo everything. But no, it's a great support class with the Focus Charm. It transfers one focus from yourself to a teammate, especially since Aura's spells, most of them don't require too much focus to cast to begin with. Weakening Hex is only one focus. Confusion Hex is one focus, and then the Bat one is 0 focus. So that helps Aura when it's trying to support its teammates. So it's pretty straightforward. You transfer a focus from your teammate when you use it. You can use it multiple times on the same teammate. You could throw them to different teammates and stuff. So when doing focus charms, you have to think about who you're going to give it to, which targets you're going to give it to. There are different schools of thought on this. Obviously, there are some great skills that you kind of want to get going as soon as possible, like the Magic Zoologist's Brave Charm. That one, it costs 7 focus. So hopefully your Magic Zoologist friend does have a decent amount of initial focus to start with. Hopefully it's 5, which is the max for Magic Zoologist. Then you'll only need 2 focus charms to transfer over, and that's a huge 150% boost across the board for all teammates in power, which is great, right? And then there's also Deterioration Hex from Professors, which, in my opinion, is the strongest spell in the game at the moment. It's hard to say at the moment since we don't have the restricted sections open yet, which once those open, that's going to greatly increase the Deterioration Hex's power, which at the moment isn't as high as it could potentially be, but still, it's still a really, really strong move. For those of you who don't know, Deterioration Hex is, you could cast it onto an enemy, a single enemy, and then when they attack or defend, they lose stamina as well. So it's a pretty good one. And obviously, you could also just keep your focus for yourself and then throw out a Weakening Hex or Confusion Hex, which Weakening Hex is to impair a foe by lowering their power, so their damage goes down by 50%. And that's why I say Aura isn't as glassy as people think, because it has Weakening Hex. If you're going solo, Aura, you're doing solo, and then you're fighting, an opponent every single time, since you don't need to transfer focus to any other teammates or whatever, and there's no multiple targets you need to throw these at. Every time you put a Weakening Hex on your opponent, it does 50% less damage. So that's pretty good, right? You also have a decent amount of defense, and then have Protego power up there, and then on top of that, decrease their power by 50% at max. You're not going to take too much damage, despite your really, really mediocre, borderline bad defensive stats, right? So it's still great, And the last one, Confusion Hex. This one's impair a foe by lowering their defense dodge and defense breach. For foes who do have defense up to 50%. This is the big offensive support skill from Auras, right? It decreases their defense by like half, and then also dodge and defense breach as well, right? So your teammates are gonna do a lot of damage to your opponents that aren't like Auras, who already do a lot of damage anyways. So let's go back to the game, and let's talk about the skill tree for a bit. Don't just totally ignore what I've unlocked. I was just going around the skill trees and testing things out. This is not an optimal route or whatever whatsoever, and I don't really think there is an optimal route at the moment. I mean, I'm sure there really is mathematically, but I really haven't spent that much time going through it. But I can give a few suggestions, I guess. So Aura, it prizes itself on crit, right? It has unbelievably high crit chance and crit power. But I really don't think going crit routes are really, really worth it. If you look at that, look at this, like precision plus 2%. So basically a 2% higher chance to crit, and then it costs like so much for only like a slight increase there. I honestly think it's better just to go for raw damage instead. Raw damage is more a bang of buck for the buck in terms of the stats to increase. And I'm not saying critical is bad. Critical is pretty good. 120% increase when you get a crit if you max out the crit power, right? And obviously that is 100% based on your base damage. So I really think before you raise your crit chances or crit power up, try to get your base damage as high as possible because it's really it really is based on that, right? And it's just cheaper to level up your base damage in comparison to um, in comparison to crit. It really is. Like even the percentage chances, I get it, but it's just better to raise your base damage. And as for stamina, I mean stamina's it's good to have. It's good to have. I'm not saying stamina is bad to have or anything, or any of the defensive skills, but really at the moment, the game is more it's more focused on offensive capabilities. Like if you die, yeah, it sucks. 30 seconds to revive, but if you are playing in a group and you have a magic zoologist, it only costs them one focus to bring you back instantly, and that's what they should be doing if you're playing with a magic zoologist friend. I'm kind of stepping into the magic zoologist part for one second, but I do kind of want to talk about magic zoologist here, and just to make the case for why you should buff your offensive stats at the moment instead of more defensive stats, because stamina charm does not recover too much HP here in comparison to where's the other one? Oh, it's this one, right? In comparison to the revive charm. Revive charm heals you up completely, and then it only costs one focus point instead of the two that stamina charm costs. So stamina charm is pretty garbage right now, to be honest. And reviving your teammate is just infinitely just more just better in terms of the cost and stuff. So you really don't have to worry too much about dying, as long as well, I guess if you die way too much, then your magic zoologist will run out of focus. But then again, remember, every time you do defeat a enemy, your whole team gains one focus, right? Your magic zoologist gains one focus, and then you gain one focus, and then you could transfer that focus to the magic zoologist for more buffs there, or you could use your weakness charm just so you don't get destroyed next time when you face an enemy. Or was it weakness charm? Was it? Yeah, I think it was weakness charm. The minus 50% in damage if you do get there. But yeah, the other defensive skills are great, but I would just prioritize damage, and then I'd go something like this. Prioritize damage first. These cheaper damage stats, you could take those up, and then maybe go for some stamina, all that. And then before that, I'd probably just go for the defensive breaches as well. Those do deal a decent amount of damage as well. And then after you've done all that, then you could probably focus on crit. Oh, before I go there, one thing that you probably do not need to care for is maximum focus. Maximum focus, you don't have to care about that at all if you're an aura. Maybe if you want one, just in case, the first round you really don't do anything, but it's really hard for aura to not use their skills completely. Like even on the first round, you got so many great skills, you got to go use them. Weakening hex, you throw them on a few opponents, or if you have a magic zoologist teammate, give them some focus, let them use their brave charm, or a professor teammate, let them use their deterioration hex, or or use your other charm, which I can't remember its name. What was it called again? Jeez, confusion hex. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, confusion hex. You have so many great skills. Like, don't store up your focus for the most part. So maximum focus isn't really relevant for aura. So you probably don't need to spend too much scrolls on maximum focus, if not any at all. Honestly, unless you want this, which I guess is okay, but then again, you do need some restricted books for that, and that's a decent amount of restricted books just to get like 10% defense with against foes with like under half stamina. Although, you know, as Aura, it's really easy to get opponents to under 50% stamina, or really quick, I guess. So it's not that bad of a deal. Okay, so maybe after you get all that, you could go for crit, right? At least get your base damage up to a decent amount. That would probably warrant the investment into crit, right? So the boost, the percentage boost on your base actually is more you know, it's more worthful, right? And looking at some other skills, Dancing with Dummies, this is precision versus foes with 100% stamina, so it's like a draw attack thing. So your first hit against your opponent, you're gonna get 35% more precision, which is crit chance again. So this is a really good one to have, I guess, especially if you do max out your, or not max out, at least have like really good base damage and have a decent amount of crit damage there. What else? The ones at the bottom, precision versus Death Eaters, you could take that as well, 25%. Since, like, you know, when you're fighting in teams, you're probably always going to fight a Death Eater, especially with like a lot of people, you know, different monsters that showed up. There's a decent chance that Death Eater is going to show up, so, you know, always having 25% against Death Eaters, that's always great. This one, critical power versus foes with 100% stamina. This one again, plus the other one, what, 35% was it? That's what, 85% plus, like, if you have like any other precision nodes unlocked, that's, you get pretty close. I haven't done the math completely on this one yet, but like you get pretty close to 100% precision there, right? Let me check the stats real fast on Wizard Unite Hub. What's the max you could get on precision? 35%. Yeah, you could get 100% crit against foes when you're doing your first attack, right? And then you got another one, Protego power versus Dark Wizard. That's not bad as well. Although I guess some of these aren't really necessary because like you already have like such high crit chance, anyways, that like, and these are probably going to be like extremely expensive, right? So you probably don't want to spend scrolls on them, since like with this, like 35% is already a lot. If you also have any more nodes unlocked, you know, you got a decent base stat on that as well. That could be really strong anyways. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one for the most part. Yeah, critical power. If you do decide to go for crit after you get a decent base power after that, and yeah, Aura I think is probably the strongest class right now. I think it outclasses both Magizoologist and Professor by quite a bit. And you know, I'm not being biased because I'm not an Aura myself. I'm a Magizoologist, which I don't think the other two are bad by any means. But you know, just at the moment, without these restricted books, like these two have like really, there's some pretty glaring deficiencies in Magizoologist and Professor, and then Aura is just all around just a great profession to use. And yeah, no, it's not as glassy as people think. It's not made out of paper. It doesn't have a high, you know, stamina stat. It doesn't have too much great, you know, defensive stats, but you know, it could be fixed with a weakening hex. So yeah, Aura, probably the strongest class at the moment. Great support class, also a great profession, just to, you know, beat enemies when you're solo as well. So yep, there's that. It's your Magizoologist's best friend. Magizoologist would love to have Aura friends. Me personally, every time I fight a you know, a tougher level in the fortresses, I would hope I'd have my friend around, my Aura friend. If not more than one Aura friend, the more Auras around me, the better. So I could you know, throw out that big brave charm. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the Aura class, and also you could tell me, you know, which one I should do next, Magizoologist or Professor. I can work on those too. I have a lot of things to talk about Magizoologists. And yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was helpful in some way. And yeah, do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. I got more Wizard Unite videos planning to come out soon, obviously. And once again, before I go, this video is sponsored by WB Games. And yep, that's gonna be it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.